If you've been waiting, praying, or hoping for change and feel worn down, this message is for you. God sees your exhaustion, your quiet tears, and the long, patient seasons that have tested your faith. Even when it feels like nothing is happening, divine work is unfolding behind the scenes, shaping your heart, preparing you for what's next. You are not forgotten, and your prayers are not unnoticed. This is not about rushing results or pretending everything is easy. It's about persevering with courage, trusting timing, and allowing inner transformation to take root. Today, God wants you to hear that staying present, faithful, and hopeful, even when it feels hard, is the most important step you can take. A call to stay awake and present. This opening section appeals directly to the listener's attention and presence. It isn't just about staying physically awake, but about remaining emotionally and spiritually alert. Life often tempts us to disengage, especially after repeated disappointments or long periods of waiting. And this part acknowledges that struggle. By framing the present moment as extraordinary and meaningful, it encourages the listener to value what's happening right now. The tone is deeply empathetic, recognizing exhaustion, frustration, and the temptation to give up. Instead of shaming weariness, it normalizes it, showing that feeling tired does not disqualify anyone from receiving what they hope for. It presents persistence in belief as an act of courage, a small yet powerful form of spiritual activism. Even when hope feels fragile, remaining present allows for opportunities to be recognized and received. The section subtly implies that miracles or breakthroughs are often tied to attention and readiness. If the listener disengages, the moment could pass unnoticed. By framing attentiveness as an act of faith, it transforms a simple decision, staying awake, staying focused, into a meaningful spiritual choice. This approach humanizes the listener, showing understanding rather than judgment. Instead of demanding perfection, it invites participation with honesty and emotional presence. The overall message is that simply continuing to engage, even when weary, is both valid and powerful. The listener is reassured that being present in spirit and mind opens the door for growth, guidance, and breakthrough. This sets the tone for the rest of the message, a combination of empathy, encouragement, and intentional focus. Acknowledging long seasons of waiting. This part directly addresses the listener's frustration and weariness from repeated delays and unmet expectations. It speaks to people who feel like their prayers or efforts haven't yielded results, acknowledging the emotional weight of waiting. The tone is compassionate and non-judgmental, emphasizing that experiencing disappointment doesn't mean a lack of faith or spiritual weakness. Instead of dismissing past frustrations, the section validates the listener's feelings, making them feel seen and understood. By reframing waiting as a shared human experience, it relieves the listener of unnecessary self-blame and guilt. Long seasons of waiting are presented not as punishment, but as natural stages in the journey toward meaningful outcomes. This approach also normalizes doubt and questioning, showing that struggling with belief doesn't invalidate hope. The section encourages reflection on the time spent waiting, helping listeners see that patience is itself a form of strength. In addition, it frames delays as potentially purposeful, hinting that unseen factors may have contributed to the timing of answers or miracles. By treating waiting as part of the spiritual and personal process, it reduces feelings of isolation and failure. The listener is gently reminded that endurance in the face of disappointment demonstrates resilience, emotional maturity, and readiness for what's to come. Ultimately, this section provides reassurance, offering the listener a sense of stability and validation. helping them regain trust in the process and in their own journey. Reframing doubt as part of the journey. This section reframes doubt as a natural and human response rather than a personal flaw. It distinguishes doubt from disbelief, emphasizing that questioning is part of engaging with life and faith rather than rejecting it. This approach humanizes the experience of uncertainty, creating a safe space for the listener to acknowledge their feelings without shame. Instead of suggesting that doubt must be eliminated immediately, it encourages moving forward despite it, showing that progress and faith can coexist with questioning. By validating doubt, the section reduces the emotional burden of feeling less than for having uncertain thoughts. The tone is gentle and understanding, emphasizing that resilience isn't about perfection, but about persistence through struggle. It also suggests that doubt can become a stepping stone for growth, helping the listener build deeper, more conscious faith. Rather than viewing uncertainty as an obstacle, it is positioned as a natural part of life's journey that requires patience, reflection, and courage. This humanizes spiritual pursuit, portraying it as a lived experience, full of nuance, rather than a binary state of belief or disbelief. The listener is encouraged to see themselves as actively participating in the process, rather than passively waiting for answers. The section reassures them that even when they feel unsure, they can still receive guidance, opportunities, and breakthroughs. By framing doubt constructively, it empowers the listener to embrace their human emotions while continuing toward growth and transformation. The idea of divine timing. This section introduces the concept that timing matters as much as outcomes. It reassures listeners that delays are rarely random or meaningless, suggesting that life's waiting periods often serve a greater purpose. Growth, maturity, and readiness are highlighted as essential factors that develop during times of apparent inactivity. The tone is patient and reflective, inviting the listener to trust that unseen progress is happening even if they can't yet perceive it. By reframing delays as preparation rather than denial, it alleviates frustration and impatience. Listeners are encouraged to recognize that readiness for a breakthrough isn't instantaneous. It is cultivated over time through life experiences, challenges, and learning. The section also normalizes uncertainty and setbacks, showing that timing is often about alignment rather than immediate satisfaction. This perspective reframes past disappointments as lessons or protective measures rather than failures. The listener is invited to consider that circumstances, resources, or internal growth may not have been ready previously, and the delay served to make them more capable of handling what is to come. The tone balances encouragement with realism, emphasizing trust, patience, and faith as active participants in the process. By aligning the listener's perspective with the concept of divine timing, it reduces anxiety and strengthens hope. This approach allows them to see waiting not as wasted time, but as an essential stage in personal and spiritual development. Unseen. Work behind the scenes. This section reassures the listener that significant progress often occurs quietly, without immediate visible results. The emphasis is on the hidden preparation and unseen work that underlies future breakthroughs. This concept is comforting for people who often measure success or progress solely through tangible outcomes. The tone conveys patience, trust, and hope, emphasizing that just because something is not immediately apparent does not mean it isn't happening. It frames the unseen work as intentional, thoughtful, and orchestrated with precision, suggesting that circumstances and resources are aligning in ways the listener may not yet perceive. This perspective encourages the listener to trust in the process and to cultivate faith even when evidence seems lacking. It also emphasizes internal growth, suggesting that emotional, spiritual, or mental development may be occurring alongside external preparation. By portraying progress as multifaceted, the section validates the listener's effort and endurance, reinforcing that their waiting has value. It shifts attention from frustration at lack of visible results to gratitude and awareness of ongoing transformation. This section humanizes the spiritual journey by acknowledging that patience is required and that preparation, though unseen, has a real, tangible impact when the time is right. The listener is encouraged to remain attentive, engaged, and open, trusting that the quiet work happening now will eventually manifest in meaningful outcomes. Emotional validation of pain and tears. This section places deep emphasis on recognizing the listener's emotional suffering. It acknowledges moments of private grief, frustration, loneliness, or silent prayers that often go unnoticed. By explicitly naming these experiences, the message validates feelings that are frequently ignored or dismissed, offering comfort that their pain is seen and understood. The tone is empathetic and gentle, prioritizing emotional resonance over explanations or advice. It reassures the listener that their tears and struggles are not signs of weakness, but a normal, human response to life's challenges. Vulnerability is honored here, highlighting that allowing oneself to feel fully is not only acceptable, but meaningful. By creating space for honest emotion, the section helps listeners release the pressure to perform hope or positivity, showing that raw feelings can coexist with resilience. This validation reduces isolation and shame, letting the listener know that experiencing pain does not invalidate their journey or potential for breakthrough. Instead, emotions are framed as part of the process, necessary element of growth and healing. The section fosters self-compassion, encouraging listeners to treat themselves with the same understanding they might offer a close friend. By acknowledging emotional reality first, the message prepares the listener to receive hope and guidance without denying their current state. Ultimately, this section transforms suffering into a recognized, shared experience, reminding the listener that feeling deeply is part of being human and that their emotional journey is meaningful and worthy of care. Lessons learned through disappointment. Here, disappointment is reframed as a teacher rather than a punishment. The section encourages the listener to reflect on past letdowns, not as failures, but as experiences that shaped resilience, insight, and discernment. Life's disappointments are presented as purposeful, potentially preventing harm, redirecting energy, or teaching lessons that only become clear with time. The tone is reflective and compassionate, allowing the listener to consider regret without judgment. By inviting perspective, it transforms pain into understanding, helping listeners see that setbacks often carry hidden value. These framing shifts attention from frustration or self-blame to curiosity and learning. The section emphasizes that each experience, even negative ones, contributes to personal growth, shaping wisdom, empathy, and emotional strength. Disappointment becomes a catalyst for self-awareness and preparation for future opportunities. By recognizing these lessons, the listener can reclaim agency, seeing themselves as active participants in their journey rather than passive victims of circumstance. This approach humanizes struggle, showing that life's difficulties are intertwined with growth rather than arbitrary obstacles. The tone reassures that the knowledge gained through hardship is a lasting benefit, one that strengthens hope and decision-making. Listeners are encouraged to integrate these experiences, carrying forward the insights and resilience built along the way. The ultimate message is that disappointment is not wasted. It leaves a lasting imprint, that prepares the listener for future fulfillment and equips them with deeper emotional and spiritual understanding. Growth through scarcity and lack. This portion addresses periods of scarcity, whether financial, emotional, or relational. Rather than framing lack as punishment or failure, it reframes it as a season for growth, learning, and preparation. Scarcity is shown as a teacher that encourages resilience, patience, responsibility, and gratitude. The tone is compassionate and steady, acknowledging that scarcity can be painful while also highlighting its developmental potential. By viewing lack as temporary and purposeful, listeners are encouraged to see challenges as shaping their character, skills, and discernment. This reframing also reduces fear of future shortages, replacing anxiety with trust that current circumstances are part of a larger process. The section underscores that abundance, when it arrives, is better appreciated and managed after lessons have been internalized. It humanizes the experience of waiting for resources, emphasizing that struggles with lack are part of the universal human journey. The message reassures listeners that their effort, integrity, and perseverance matter even in the absence of immediate reward. Scarcity is thus presented not as a signal of inadequacy, but as a valuable phase that cultivates readiness for deeper fulfillment. The tone encourages self-compassion and patience, while fostering hope that the current difficulty will contribute to long-term strength and wisdom. By highlighting the constructive aspects of lack, listeners are reminded that growth is often invisible and gradual, making preparation itself an act of courage and trust. Emotional healing before external change. This section emphasizes the importance of internal readiness before external breakthroughs. It reminds listeners that personal growth, emotional healing, and self-awareness often precede tangible success or change in circumstances. The tone is gentle and reassuring, validating the listener's desire for immediate results while guiding them to value inner work. Emotional readiness is framed as essential to sustaining future opportunities, helping prevent repeated patterns of struggle or pain. By focusing on the process rather than the outcome, the section encourages patience, self-reflection, and gentle persistence. It reassures listeners that lack of visible change does not mean failure. Rather, unseen emotional and spiritual development is occurring. Healing is portrayed as a gradual, layered process that prepares the listener for deeper fulfillment. The section also addresses the common frustration of feeling stuck, helping listeners recognize that progress isn't always measurable in immediate outcomes. By prioritizing emotional health, listeners are empowered to approach life's challenges with clarity, resilience, and intention. This section humanizes the journey, portraying growth as multidimensional, both internal and external. The listener is encouraged to celebrate subtle internal shifts, cultivating gratitude for progress, even when circumstances remain unchanged. Ultimately, this section reassures that emotional readiness amplifies the impact of external opportunities, making patience a meaningful investment rather than wasted time. Releasing fear of future disappointment. This section addresses the common fear of hoping again after repeated setbacks. Listeners are reminded that protecting oneself by avoiding hope can feel safe, but ultimately limits growth and possibility. The tone is compassionate, acknowledging that fear is real and understandable. It reassures the listener that feeling cautious does not mean weakness. Rather, it is a normal response to past hurt. The section encourages gradual courage, taking small, intentional steps toward hope, rather than forcing sudden leaps of faith. By reframing fear as an opportunity for self-awareness and measured trust, listeners are invited to engage with life more openly while still honoring their boundaries. It emphasizes that hoping again is not reckless, but an act of resilience, demonstrating trust in oneself and the process. The message highlights the balance between caution and openness, validating hesitation while gently encouraging movement forward. In this way, listeners are supported in rebuilding confidence without denying previous pain. The section also suggests that fear of disappointment can be softened by reflection, prayer, mindfulness, or personal intention, creating internal tools to navigate uncertainty. By acknowledging the risk of unmet expectations, while also celebrating the courage to remain open, this section reframes hope as a sustainable, quiet choice. Listeners are reminded that hope does not have to be loud or certain. It can be steady, measured, and resilient. Ultimately, this section empowers the listener to release fear in favor of cautious optimism, showing that vulnerability paired with wisdom creates space for meaningful growth and joy. The power of focus and intention. This portion highlights the significance of attention, intention, and conscious engagement with life. It reassures listeners that clarity doesn't require perfection, but is cultivated by thoughtful, intentional choices. The tone is encouraging and reflective, inviting the listener to notice where energy and focus are being directed. By focusing on internal alignment rather than external pressure, the section reframes action as purposeful rather than forced. Attention is presented as a subtle but powerful tool. What we dwell on, nurture, and prioritize shapes our perspective, resilience, and emotional health. Listeners are reminded that even small shifts in focus can create meaningful change over time. The section also emphasizes intention in daily life, showing that deliberate, mindful engagement allows individuals to navigate uncertainty with roundedness and agency. Rather than promising immediate results, the message encourages steady, purposeful practice of aligning thoughts, emotions, and actions. It humanizes progress by recognizing the effort involved in sustaining focus amidst distractions or fatigue. By cultivating awareness of intention, listeners are empowered to feel less like victims of circumstance and more like participants in their journey. The section balances hope with responsibility, suggesting that growth comes not from passive waiting, but from thoughtful presence and conscious effort. Ultimately, it reassures listeners that even small, deliberate acts of attention and focus can ripple outward, contributing to emotional, spiritual, and practical transformation over time. Readiness as a process, not a moment. This section emphasizes that readiness develops gradually rather than arriving fully formed. Listeners are reassured that feeling unprepared or uncertain in the past does not mean failure. It simply reflects the natural pace of growth. The tone is patient and encouraging, reducing shame around delayed progress. By framing readiness as a process, the section normalizes gradual development and the need for preparation before opportunity or breakthrough. Listeners are reminded that internal and external growth often unfold in parallel, and that milestones may be invisible until fully realized. The message encourages self-compassion and patience, allowing individuals to honor their journey without comparison or judgment. It reframes past struggles as essential steps toward readiness, showing that every experience contributes to emotional, spiritual, or practical preparation. The section also validates frustration or impatience, acknowledging that waiting can feel difficult, but it encourages trust in the unseen work of growth. By emphasizing process over immediacy, listeners are invited to celebrate incremental progress and internal shifts, recognizing that preparedness is a cumulative result of effort, reflection, and resilience. Ultimately, this section reassures that readiness is not a single moment, but a layered, evolving state. And that continued attention, reflection, and patience steadily prepare the individual for meaningful opportunities when the time is right. Trusting purpose over immediate relief. This section contrasts the allure of quick fixes with the value of long-term fulfillment. It reassures listeners that enduring growth often requires patience and trust in a larger process, even when immediate relief seems tempting. The tone is grounding and reflective, encouraging individuals to weigh short-term comfort against lasting transformation. By framing life's challenges as opportunities for meaningful development, listeners are guided to see that moments of discomfort may serve an important purpose. This section humanizes the struggle by acknowledging the natural desire for relief while gently redirecting attention towards sustainable outcomes. It emphasizes the importance of aligning actions with deeper purpose rather than reacting impulsively to pain or frustration. Listeners are encouraged to cultivate patience and trust, recognizing that setbacks and delays may be preparing them for something greater. The message reassures that waiting with intention and integrity strengthens resilience, character, and perspective. By valuing long-term growth over instant gratification, listeners can navigate uncertainty with hope and wisdom, fostering confidence that life's timing and circumstances often work together for optimal outcomes. Ultimately, this section nurtures maturity, reflection, and emotional steadiness, encouraging the listener to trust that enduring purpose outweighs temporary relief and that every season contributes to a meaningful journey. Recognizing personal transformation. This section invites listeners to pause and reflect on how far they've come, highlighting growth, resilience, and inner strength developed through struggle. It reassures them that even surviving hardship is evidence of progress and capability. The tone is affirming and celebratory, emphasizing personal evolution rather than external achievements. By encouraging reflection on past experiences, the section helps listeners see patterns of perseverance, adaptability, and learning that might otherwise go unnoticed. Growth is framed as cumulative, built from small choices, endurance through difficulty, and moments of quiet courage. The message also humanizes transformation, acknowledging that progress is often non-linear, uneven, and invisible at times. By focusing on internal shifts, listeners gain perspective on their own agency and resilience, reinforcing self-worth and confidence. The section encourages gratitude for personal victories, no matter how subtle, and invites recognition of the skills, wisdom, and emotional capacity gained along the way. This reflection fosters hope, empowering listeners to trust themselves and the process, even in the face of future challenges. Ultimately, the section reframes the journey as evidence of growth and transformation, reminding listeners that they are evolving, capable, and equipped to continue forward with courage, grace, and self-compassion. Hope as a quiet strength. Here, hope is presented not as loud certainty, but as a steady, persistent presence that supports continued forward motion. The tone is gentle and reassuring, validating small or fragile glimmers of hope. Listeners are encouraged to honor whatever faith or optimism they can sustain, no matter how subtle. This section reassures that hope does not require full understanding or immediate results. It can exist quietly, yet still provide guidance and resilience. By framing hope as a companion rather than a guarantee, the message humanizes the experience of believing in the unseen. The section also honors perseverance, showing that continuing to hope, reflect, or act in small ways is itself a courageous choice. It reframes hope from being outcome-dependent to being a sustaining force in the journey. giving listeners emotional and spiritual footing during uncertainty. By validating even fragile hope, the section reduces shame or self-criticism and fosters gentle courage. Ultimately, listeners are reminded that hope is both a tool and a gift, a quiet strength that allows endurance, inspires small actions, and quietly builds the foundation for eventual breakthrough. Patience, without passivity. This section clarifies that waiting is not the same as giving up. It encourages listeners to remain engaged, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, while cultivating patience. The tone is nurturing, emphasizing balance between trust in timing and active reflection or preparation. Listeners are reassured that patience does not require passivity, but instead invites awareness, discernment, and intentional choices. By framing patience as an active, conscious stance, the section encourages resilience and emotional maturity. It validates the difficulty of waiting while highlighting its purpose, growth, clarity, and alignment with meaningful outcomes. The section also emphasizes personal responsibility, showing that waiting is not passive surrender, but an opportunity to strengthen internal resources. By promoting reflective patience, listeners are guided to stay open, hopeful, and prepared without forcing immediate change or outcomes. Ultimately, this section reassures that waiting with mindfulness and engagement cultivates readiness, resilience, and courage, honoring the balance between trust and action, ending with reassurance and continuity. The conclusion reassures listeners that their journey is ongoing and meaningful. It emphasizes that they are seen, valued, and accompanied, even during difficult or uncertain seasons. The tone is warm, gentle, and encouraging, leaving listeners with a sense of steady companionship rather than promises of instant results. By framing life as a continuous journey, the section honors the listener's persistence and resilience, reminding them that endurance itself is significant. It reinforces themes of hope, growth, and inner transformation, validating both struggles and progress. Listeners are encouraged to continue engaging with life, reflecting, and remaining open to learning and change. The message emphasizes continuity over perfection, showing that even small steps, sustained hope, and emotional presence contribute to meaningful progress. By ending with reassurance, the section leaves listeners with calm confidence, emotional steadiness, and gentle encouragement to keep moving forward. It humanizes the journey, showing that growth and fulfillment unfold over time, and that the listener is neither alone nor abandoned. This creates a lasting sense of companionship, hope, and trust in the ongoing process of life.